Hello, welcome. My name is Kelsey. Today we're going to work on Dolphin Pose, a lot of upper body strength building. It'll be a pretty quick class, only like 20-25 minutes or so. There's a playlist set up as well, as always. I recommend either having it on a separate browser or you can put it on a different device entirely. We'll sync up so that we're starting it at the same time. You don't necessarily need any props today. It might be helpful if you have blocks in a couple instances, but not totally necessary. There's other options if you don't have those at home. I actually do not have any right now. I need to grab some myself. So we're going to start on our backs today, but before we get there, if you are doing the music, again, I've linked it down below so you can get it all set up there. Feel free to pause the video and then come back to this. We will hit play on the count of 1. So we'll count down from 3, 2, 1. Hitting play here. And then making your way down onto your back, letting the feet come out long. Or if that feels like a lot on your low back right now, you can bend the knees, letting the soles of your feet be placed down on the mat. Palms can face up. And just taking a quick moment here, settling into your mat, into this space. Mentally preparing yourself for this flow. And just focusing on your breath. Taking one more cycle of breath here, maybe filling up a little bit more than you have been. And then exhale, letting it all go. If your knees are bent, let them come out long. And on your inhale, we'll reach our arms up overhead, taking a full body stretch. And on the exhale, walk your hands and feet over to the right side of your mat, crossing the left ankle over the right. Right hand can grab onto the left wrist, creating a little bit of a C shape with the body. Take a deep inhale here, fill up. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, coming back through center. And exhaling over to the left side, crossing the right ankle over the left. Left hand grabs onto the right wrist. Take a deep breath here, fill up. And exhale, let it go. Next inhale brings you back to center. Reaching through the fingertips and toes once more. And on your exhale, pull your knees in towards your chest, swaying gently side to side, massaging that low spine. And allowing the toes and the hands to drift up towards the ceiling, rolling out through the wrists and ankles. Maybe you get some pops and cracks out of here. Any stagnant energy. And reversing the direction if you haven't already. Release your hands back down, grab onto the back of your thighs, rock and roll forward and back. Maybe you take this a few times to massage the spine as well. And once you've had enough of that, you can roll all the way forward to meet in a tabletop position. So your hands are stacked underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. Start to drop the belly, lifting the tailbone, chest opens up. And on your exhale, press into the palms, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, drop the belly, open up. Maybe closing your eyes if you feel comfortable. And exhale, reversing it. One more round here. Coming back to a neutral spine, start to dial your fingertips back towards your knees. Warming up the wrists a little bit. Shift the weight back in order to intensify. One more breath here. Shift the weight forward. Flip your tops of your hands come down onto the mat, fingertips are facing in towards one another, and then shift the weight side to side. Starting to get into the wrists a little bit, although we will be on our forearms more often in this class, it still is important to warm them up. And coming back to center, roll out the wrists one at a time, and then walk your hands way out in front of you, potentially off your mat, keeping your hips stacked over your knees. Melt your chest down into puppy pose. Your forehead can be on the mat, or maybe your chin landing wherever it feels comfortable for you. And taking a deep breath here. And staying right here, start to bring your hands together, pressing down through the elbows. We'll bring our hands back towards the back of our neck. So you're opening up through the triceps. You can walk those arms out a little bit further to get a deeper stretch. And slowly releasing those hands back down. Start to roll yourself forward, landing in a Sphinx pose. Elbows are stacked directly underneath your shoulders. Fingertips are spread wide. The chest is being pulled forward. It looks like you're just kind of hanging out here, but this is actually a very active pose. And on your exhale, allow those elbows to come out wide, chest comes down towards the mat. On your inhale, start to bring those legs together, firming up the thighs, lift the chest up off the mat, baby cobra. Hands can stay down, or maybe you lift them up to ensure that there isn't any weight in the hands. And exhale, lower down. This time, pressing your palms into the mat. Inhale, lift yourself up to full cobra. Keeping a little micro bend in the elbows. And exhale, lower down. Next, inhale lifts you all the way up to upward facing dog if you feel ready. If not, you can stay in cobra. And on your exhale, rolling over the toes, take your time. Meet back in downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet here, just getting into it. Maybe you gaze underneath one shoulder at a time. Lifting the toe, looking up onto the toes, and then releasing them back down. Breathing here. And on your inhale, lift both heels up. On your exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Start to take some little steps up to the top of your mat. Landing in a forward fold here. Letting the head hang heavy, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Gently swaying side to side. Releasing your hands back down towards the mat. On your inhale, come to a halfway lift. Crown of your head reaches forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale, this time bending your knees, rising all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back, meeting in a high plank. Hold that high plank here. Belly is pulled in. Fingertips are pressing into the mat. Shoulder blades are separating here. And on your exhale, instead of taking a chaturanga right away, we're going to drop the knees down onto the mat and meet back in a tabletop. So this is the first way that we'll come into Dolphin Pose. Later on, we'll just flow through it. Once your hands are right underneath your shoulders, start to replace your elbows with where your palms were. So notice that my forearms are pointing straight. The elbows are not out wide here. They're in line with your wrists. Feel that separation from your shoulder blades. So instead of dropping into it, we're going to press down actively through the forearms and the palms. You should feel this right like this, even without tucking your toes. Then release. Press into it once more. If you feel comfortable, start to tuck your toes, lifting your hips up, coming into Dolphin Pose. It's essentially downward facing dog, except you are on your forearms, so it will feel much harder.
Pressing that weight back, so you're opening up through the shoulders, gazing back by your toes. One more breath here. Take an inhale. On your exhale, press into the palms, shift your gaze towards your fingertips. We're gonna land in a Chaturanga pose. So your elbows are bent. Inhale, lifting yourself up. Upward facing dog. And exhale back to downward facing. Take a breath here. We're gonna do that a lot today. You can skip it if you would like to, but I encourage you to try to take as many as you are able to build up that strength. But check in with yourself. If it's too much, don't do it. On your inhale, lift both heels. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Travel to the front. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up, arms up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back, coming right into downward facing dog, and then dropping those elbows down, transitioning into dolphin this way. So our Chaturanga will be the last part of the flow after downward facing dog. Press into those palms, shift your gaze forward, and on your exhale, meet with those Chaturanga arms, shoulders above the elbows or in line. Inhale, opening that chest up. And exhale, send the hips back, downward facing. Inhale, lift both heels. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Travel to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. This time on your exhale, open the arms up, cactusing the arms out wide, chest is lifted. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back, meeting right in Dolphin Pose. Drop those elbows down, gazing back towards your feet for a moment, taking that little pulse with your upper body. And on your exhale, press into the palms, shift the gaze forward, meet with those Chaturanga arms, and inhale, open the chest up. Exhale, back to downward facing. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Travel to the front. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink your hips down, come right into that chair pose. We're gonna start to build on a sequence right away. Dolphin will be included each time, except it'll get a little bit more challenging. And on your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands back. Plant the hands, step the feet back. Meet back in that dolphin pose. On your exhale, we're gonna shift the weight forward. So the Chaturanga arms stay here. Inhale the right leg up, then kick it all the way back to three-legged dogs. Rise, start to bend the knee, opening up the hip. Taking some circles here, going in one direction and then reversing it. And on your inhale, right toes rise. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, kick it back. Exhale, step that right foot all the way through. Left heel comes down, and on your inhale, you lift up to warrior one. Hips are turned towards the front of the mat. Right knee is bent. And on your exhale, let the chest drop forward into humble warrior. Maybe you interlace those fingers for a moment. Might feel good on the shoulders. Inhale, coming to a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, we're gonna lift all the way back up. Transitioning to warrior two. Bending into that right knee. Inhale, exalt. Exhale, frame that right foot, staying here. Left hand plants, right arm rises. Taking that twist here, opening the chest up. And exhale, right hand comes down, step that right foot back. Maybe you keep it lifted as you take your Chaturanga. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And then immediately dropping the elbows down, Dolphin Pose. Building up that strength here. Eventually this will start to feel slightly easier, maybe. And shift the weight and the gaze forward. Coming into those Chaturanga arms. Inhale the left leg up. Kicking it all the way back to three-legged dog. Bend that left knee. Start to opening up the hip. Going with those circles, whether they're big or small. And on your inhale, left toes rise. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, kick it back three-legged. And exhale, step that left foot all the way through. Right heel comes down, feet are on railroad tracks. Inhale, lift yourself up, warrior one. On your exhale, let that chest melt forward, humble warrior. Maybe you interlace those fingers behind your low back, melting forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold into it. Your next inhale will start to lift up, landing in warrior two. Inhale, exalt it back. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame that left foot. Plant the right hand down, left arm rises. Taking this twist here, opening up a little bit. And exhale, left hand comes down. Take your flow, maybe you keep that left leg lifted. Coming back into downward facing dog. Immediately dropping the elbows down. We have one more round here, coming into dolphin. On your exhale, gaze forward, meet with those Chaturanga arms. Right leg lifts. Inhale, kicking it all the way back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged. Exhale, step it all the way through. Left heel comes down. Inhale, lifts you up for warrior one. Feet are on railroad tracks. And exhale, melt forward, humble warrior. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Release those fingertips on your inhale, coming back to warrior two. Settling in. Inhale, exalt, right arm reaches back. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame that right foot. Stay here. Left hand plants. Inhale, right arm rises. Now we're going to build here for a second. Bring that right hand back down to frame the foot. We'll kick the right foot back while also bringing the elbows down, three-legged dolphin. It might feel a little bit hard to lift that right leg up. You're not alone. Now we're going to play around a little bit here, pressing into the palms. Right leg is going to stay lifted. Shift the gaze towards your hands, bend the left knee. We're going to be lifting our elbows up as we bring our left foot up towards our hands. So you jump all the way up. You can play around with it a couple times if you're like, what? Both those at the same time. Then once you get there, left hand plants, right arm rises, coming into half moon. Stack the right hip over the left. Big breath here. And on your exhale, right hand comes down, standing splits. Right leg is lifted. You can stay right here, or maybe you plant your hands down, taking just a couple little hops, handstand hops here, pressing into the palms, just to feel what it's like to spend more time on your hands. And when you're done with that, take your flow. Coming back right away into dolphin. Elbows drop down, gazes back towards your toes. Take a breath here. And firmly pressing into the palms, shift your gaze forward. Come into those Chaturanga arms, left toes lift, and inhale, kick it back to three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged. Exhale, step that left foot all the way through. Spin the right toes out to the side. Inhale, lift yourself up, warrior one. Exhale, coming into humble warrior. You can interlace those fingers if you'd like. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, fold. Release that grip. On your inhale, lift yourself up. And exhale, land in warrior two. Inhale, exalted back. Left arm reaches towards the back. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame that left foot. Plant the right hand down, left arm rises. Taking this twist here. Now we're gonna come back into that dolphin pit stop. Place the left hand back down on the mat. And on your inhale, bring the left foot back, bending both elbows to land in a three-legged dolphin pose. Just building up strength, you're holding this. We're gonna take that step up, so start to bend the right knee, shift your gaze towards your hands. We will bring the right foot up while we also lift the elbows. So you're pressing into it. Maybe it doesn't go too far, that's fine. Once you get here, right hand plants, left arm rises. Coming into that half moon. Should feel good on the hip. And on your exhale, let the left hand come down. Coming into standing splits. Left leg is lifted. Hips are square down towards the mat. Now either staying right here, or you can take those handstand hops. The right foot can come up a little bit or a lot if you feel comfortable. If you're by a wall, you can always do that too. Just playing around, then eventually stepping those feet back. Take your flow. And one last time we will meet here in Dolphin Pose. Gazing back towards your toes. And eventually dropping your knees down onto the mat. Sink your hips back, child's pose. Taking a few cycles of breath here. It's a quick and spicy class. Give yourself a breather. And on your inhale, start to lift your chest up, sliding your right hand underneath the left arm threaded needle. That right palm can be facing up or down. Letting your head rest down here. Couple cycles of breath. Walking that left hand back in. Allow the right arm to drift up towards the ceiling. And swapping it out. Right hand plants, left arm rises. Threading it underneath the right. And settling in. On your next inhale, start to walk those right fingertips back. Allow the left arm to drift up. Coming back into child's pose, but pressing into your palms. On your inhale, we're going to start to lift the hips up, soles of your feet stay together. And then dropping your hips down, opening the chest up. On exhale, send the hips back, child's pose. Flowing through that one more time. Inhale, lifting yourself up, opening the chest up. And exhale, send the hips back. Next inhale, we will lift up just to come through a seated position all the way down onto your back. Rolling yourself down, taking your time. And pulling both knees in towards your chest. Taking that sway side to side. And allowing the knees to fall out wide. Grab through that hole onto the outer edges of your feet. Let them shine up towards the ceiling. Coming into happy baby. Maybe you still sway a little bit side to side. Taking any other last little movements that you might need. Or maybe today setting up for Shavasana with the soles of your feet together in a reclined butterfly position. Resisting the urge to stop the video and move on to the next thing. Giving yourself this time, this next minute, just to be here. Gently starting to reawaken the body. Moving the fingers, rolling through the wrists and ankles. Gently pulling your knees in towards your chest. And making your way up to a seated position, however sounds good. Taking one last breath together here. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, releasing down. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day or evening. I'll see you on the next video.